Hi there and welcome back to the Thinking Palette. I'm Dr. Amit Parekh, and as you guys must already be knowing, I am an artist, but besides that I'm also a dentist, a counseling psychologist and a life coach. Yes, you heard it right. I'm basically running three careers at the same time. And I'm sure you're wondering how do I manage the time, because a lot of people, especially in my Instagram family, have asked me a couple of times on explaining how I manage my time well, how I'm productive and how I actually remain sane at the same time. Trust me, managing time is one of the important skills that you will require even as an artist. And this video, I primarily am going to give you some hacks, some tips that can really help you become much more productive, much more effective with your time. If you still haven't subscribed to the channel, this is your go-to to do that. I give you a new video every Wednesday and Sunday where we explain everything that's related to art and take you forward in that journey. Today we are going to talk about time skills, how you can actually be very, very productive. Watch the video till the very end so that you get necessary information, necessary tips. I'll actually explain how I divide my time so that I can be maximum productive. At the same time, I find time to rest and adequately take care of myself. This video is all about that. We are going to get started. But before that, remember, you guys can have your own priorities, your own needs. It doesn't mean that you have to do exactly what I'm doing. Figure out what works best for you. Try and get some tidbits of information and some tips and tricks from this video. I'm sure it will be useful to you. Let's get started with that. So let me begin by telling you about my dental career. Now, I have seen my parents because both of them are dentists. So since I was a child, literally I've grown up in a dental clinic. And I knew that dentistry was something that I really liked looking at, something that I was enthusiastic about, and I got a seat easily in. So in 2009, I finished my bachelor's, and 2013, I finished my master's in dentistry in prosthodontics and implantology. And I have been a practicing full-time dentist since that stage of time. Now, as I moved forward in my dentistry, I kind of realized that I was not completely feeling that I'm doing a lot of things. I had my childhood love of art. I was always an artist since I was a kid. I would always have colors with me, crayons with me, a lot of color pens with me. And I realized that I kind of wanted to do more art in my life. Although I used to do a little bit, I kind of wanted to take it one step forward. So in 2015, I actually decided to set up my art space. I started creating a lot of artwork for myself, and gradually as I started creating more art, I realized that I actually want to teach this as well. I just don't want to make it, I want to teach it as well. So I'm going to tell a little bit about that soon. I also felt that I wanted to do something to help people, and that's when in 2019 I decided to take one other step. So besides my art which was happening, my dentistry which was happening, I decided to actually pursue a second master's degree in counseling psychology. And that's how I took a 2-year course. I also did a postgraduate diploma in art therapy. And with my partner, Captain Arun Yadav, we actually opened a company called Mindtra. And we use that to reach out to people and them a lot of self-help, empower them to live happier and better lives through the power of the mind, through psychology, through spirituality and through other healing modalities. Back to the art thing that I was talking about. By 2019, when I realized that I wanted to take art much forward, I actually started conducting workshops with my sister. I also started the Thinking Palette art page, which you must have seen, where we started on a small scale. We started offline workshops. We just started putting it up on Instagram. We are doing this. We did 3 workshops and the lockdown came in 2020. So that's basically shut down what we had just started. But I didn't give up. And in fact, everything shifted to the online medium after that. In the lockdown, if you'll have seen, I have done multiple collaborations, multiple live sessions, reached out to so many people. I found my own identity of what kind of art I actually am good at, what I can teach better, what I can grow in. So that period, in fact, became a lot of self-reflection, and I realized that, finding your art style takes some time. It takes a lot of experimentation, and it requires you to actually do stuff for yourself more than just doing it for the social media or doing it for the audience. Trying to figure out what connects to you. You'll find some subjects really connect to you, some kind of materials or mediums stick to you better, some themes, some styles stick to you better. So this is a little bit when you start going to managing your time, because you can't keep doing everything. So you need to actually learn to figure out what really connects with you, what makes you feel happy, and what you really do enjoy doing. So since COVID has happened, the lockdown was happening, I finished my master's degree in counseling psychology. I was able to start teaching art. Those 2 years, a lot of learning, teaching, all of that happened. But last in 2022, actually everything restarted. Clinic started working full time. I had already started 3 careers. I was running 3, like the Mindtra business, the Thinking Palette page, and I was running my clinic. I'm like, now if it's everything's working full time, everything's shifting to the offline world again, I need to figure out a better strategy. That's when I actually decided to take some priorities, set some rules for myself. I shifted my pattern into the 3-3 pattern. In the sense, I actually do dentistry now for 3 days only. It was a difficult decision to make, but I had my parents' support because I would have to dedicate the time to mantra, to the thinking palette. So that's how I divided the days. Now you may not have the same privilege or you may not have the same kind of priority. So do what works for you. Allocation of time, allocation of resources is very important when you want to be productive and you want to get maximum results. So in this case, this is how I distributed my time. So now it's time to talk about the actual time hacks that I use. The first one is to have a clear to-do list and a monthly calendar. Organizing yourself is very, very important. You should know exactly what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and where you're going to do a task. I set all my tasks at least one day priorly, which means although I have a monthly calendar knowing that this is the activities for the month, one night priorly I set up at least 3 tasks for the next day. Most important task, priority number 1, is set early in the morning, which means that this needs to get done urgently. Then I set 2 other tasks which, if possible to get done, is great. In case I have more time, I do more. In case I do not, then I reallocate the time. But I see to it that if at least 80 to 90% of times complete all my tasks, because that helps me to stay much more organized. It helps me to stay much more focused. Set your time, set your to-do list and set your calendars. You will be able to be much more effective if you know exactly what you want to do for that month and for that day. Point number 2, set realistic goals. You must know what is actually possible for you to finish in a certain amount of time. Sometimes we just set unrealistic goals thinking we are going to finish all this work in such period of time, which is not really practical to do. You must have heard this line from Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, बनी जितना भी करो कुछ ना कुछ लाइफ में छूट ही जाता है. Well, that's exactly what sometimes work also feels like. You want to do so many things, but something or the other is going to get compromised. You need to decide what actually requires that priority. Secondly, don't depend just on external motivation or sometimes even internal motivation. Have a fixed discipline when you start working. As an artist or whether you're doing any work, having that discipline makes a lot of difference. Give yourself that dedicated time. For example, if I'm working on an Instagram reel editing, I know I have to give myself 15 to 20 minutes to do that editing in that, maybe 3 to 3:30 p.m. Or if I have to do a recording, I need to finish it between 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. so that the sunlight is the best. Figure out what works best for you and dedicate that time accordingly. Setting realistic goals will help you. Sometimes impromptu things will just come in, something comes out of the blue. We have to be prepared for that, and that's not always going to work in our favor. So it's all right, but see to that as much as possible you try and have a clear routine and you have a clear time realistically set. Point number 3, delegation. A lot of times we often take things and we want to do everything. When I started off, even I wanted to do everything, right from running the Instagram page to answering each and every DM, to making the YouTube channel, to making the post, this, that, everything was under my hand. I realized that's not going to be possible. If I'm running 3 careers, I will need a team. So I actually have interns, I have people in my team, I have, manager, everything I have as a small team, but I have people now to help me out. And I know it may not be feasible for you to, suddenly have a team of your own. That depends entirely on the objectives you set for yourself. But whatever you want to do, try and delegate certain tasks which you're not good at, or it's taking away excess of your time. See if you can have somebody to help you out. You can just have somebody allocated those, because that will really save a lot of time. It doesn't mean that you are procrastinating. It just means you're realizing that this is going to waste a lot of my time and my energy. I can do something better in the same amount of time. This way you will be able to start finding tasks that are much more easier for you to handle, and you'll be much more efficient with your work. Finally, the most important task of time management is actually the execution. Even if you set hours and hours planning, if you're not going to actually do the activity, it's not going to serve you any purpose. And execution only happens when you know exactly why you are doing something. If you have a purpose and you're not mindlessly doing something, the likelihood that you will do it will increase drastically. Hence, figure out exactly why you're doing something, what is the real purpose behind it. Sometimes social media can be very deceptive. We only show a lot of times the good things. I try and show some of the wrongs also that happens, but most of the times that's what we show on social media, the beautiful, happy picture. But sometimes, let's be very honest, it doesn't work out that easy. It takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of effort, and things don't necessarily always work the way you want them to. Sometimes challenges just come up, can be personal, professional. It can just be that you have so many tasks and you have not even realized where to start from, and you're just overwhelmed with work. That happens to me as well. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि नहीं होता है. But the point is, we have to figure out where we want to reach at the end of the day. The whole purpose of this YouTube channel is, of course, to help each and every one. That's my whole purpose of doing art, is to inspire lives and create better lives for people through the power of art. So use your time correctly, invest your time in the right places. Now, what about rest? I mean, I've not talked about it, but finding time to rest is also equally important. Although I relax a lot with art, I meditate and everything, I also like to play on my PlayStation. So I make time for that. I may not be able to do it every day, but there are certain days when I know that I am feeling a little bit going towards burnout, I stop myself. I anyway spend a lot of time with my pet Milo, so I get a lot of relaxation from there. I take enough breaks in between my tasks so that I am recharged to do work. Finding those breaks, finding time for yourself is equally important. It doesn't mean you are a machine and you have to keep running, but yes, you have to be hardworking in case you really want to reach somewhere. That's also equally important. So I just gave you my 3 main hacks. First, see to that you have a to-do list and your monthly calendar set so you know where you want to do them. Keep 3 to 4 tasks clear that you know you need to get them done. Set realistic goals. Once you set a realistic goal, know the timeline, know what you want to achieve, and that will make things much more easier for you. Delegate the tasks. Take up tasks which will give you more happiness or which are more important to do. Additionally, don't forget that you can rest. You're supposed to rest and recover. Find a routine but be flexible about it. If you're going to punish yourself, that's not going to really help you. So with those little bits of tips and tricks, see what works for you. I highly recommend being much more organized and much more pedantic in that sense rather than chaotic. Finding the right rhythm that works best for you. If these tips have helped you in some way or the other, please do comment and let us know. We would love to know. And if you have any certain questions, feel free to put those up as well. We'll be happy to answer them too. This video seems to have helped you and you think you want to share it with your friends, just go ahead and do that. Remember to subscribe to the channel because every Wednesday and Sunday we have a new video coming up. I look forward to taking you all in this journey. So until next time, see you. Bye bye. Take care. Dr. Amey Parekh.